It started as a drizzle, soft, almost refreshing. I had just stepped outside my small house on the outskirts of Oakville, a town so nondescript that even a peculiar story seemed out of place. The rain caught me off guard, not because it was unexpected, but because of how strange it felt. The droplets were thicker, heavier than normal rain, and when one splashed on my hand, I froze. It wasn't water. It was gelatinous. My name is Andrew Grayson, and I'm the kind of guy who notices things others overlook. As a freelance journalist, curiosity is both my bread and butter, and my curse. When the gelatinous rain began falling that August morning, my instincts told me this was no ordinary weather phenomenon. The world didn't know about Oakville, but after this story, it would. By the time I made it back inside, the rain had intensified. From the window I watched as the streets became slick with the translucent, viscous substance. Neighbors emerged from their homes, bewildered, some holding umbrellas, others using their hands to scoop up the goo. Mrs. Kent, the elderly woman across the street, held a small jar she was already filling. That's when the first scream shattered the eerie quiet. I grabbed my phone and dashed outside. The scream had come from further down the street, near the park. The air was thick, not just with moisture, but with an unsettling stillness, like the world itself was holding its breath. As I ran, I noticed something odd. The animals were gone. Usually the park was alive with birdsong, the occasional barking dog, and the chatter of squirrels. But now, nothing. Just the sound of my hurried footsteps. The source of the scream became apparent when I reached the swing set. A man, mid-30s, was collapsed on the ground, his body convulsing. The goo, that rain, coated his face and arms. I knelt beside him, the substance cold and clammy as I tried to wipe it away. His eyes darted to mine, wide with terror. He tried to speak, but all that came out was a wet gurgle before his body went limp. Andrew. I turned to see Emily, a barista from the coffee shop I frequented, rushing toward me. Her hair was plastered to her face, her clothes streaked with the rain. "What the hell is happening?" she demanded, her voice trembling. "I don't know," I admitted, standing up. "But we need to get inside." We retreated to my house. Once inside, I grabbed some towels and handed one to Emily. She wiped the goo from her arms, shuddering as she did. "This isn't normal rain," she muttered. "It's alive." I froze. "What do you mean?" Emily hesitated, then reached into her pocket, pulling out a small vial. Inside was a sample of the rain. As I stared, the substance quivered, almost imperceptibly. "I saw it move," she whispered, "like it's trying to find something." My stomach churned. I grabbed my laptop and began searching for anything that could explain this. Articles about Oakville's unusual weather anomalies popped up, most of them decades old. One headline caught my eye: "The Oakville Blobs, a mystery unsolved." The article described a similar phenomenon from 1994. A gelatinous substance had rained down on the town, causing illness among residents and baffling scientists. Samples were taken, but no definitive answers were ever found. Some speculated it was jellyfish remains carried by military testing. Others believed it was a biological weapon. None of it seemed plausible. As I read, Emily's voice broke through my concentration. "Andrew," she said, her tone sharp. "Look." She was staring out the window. The rain had stopped, but the world outside was coated in the strange substance. And it was moving, slowly, almost imperceptibly. The goo was sliding, coalescing into small pools. One of them began to rise, forming a grotesque, amorphous shape. My breath hitched as I realized it wasn't random. It was looking at us. Emily and I backed away from the window. "We need to leave," she whispered. "And go where?" I countered. "If this is everywhere..." A loud crash interrupted me. The front door shuddered as something slammed against it. Emily screamed, and I grabbed the nearest thing I could find, a baseball bat. The door buckled, the wood splintering, until it gave way completely. The creature, if you could call it that, oozed into the room, its form shifting and writhing. Tendrils shot out, grasping at furniture, at us. I swung the bat, but it passed through the creature as if it were smoke. Emily grabbed a bottle of bleach from under the sink and hurled it at the mass. The reaction was immediate. The goo recoiled, hissing as it dissolved where the bleach touched it. Emily and I exchanged a glance. "Chemicals," she said. "Maybe that's how we fight it." We barricaded ourselves in the bathroom, the strongest room in the house. I turned on the faucet, filling the tub with hot water, while Emily rummaged through the cabinets for anything remotely caustic. "If this stuff is alive," she said, "it might have a weakness, something that disrupts its structure." The hours crawled by. Outside, the world had descended into chaos. Through the small bathroom window, I could see neighbors fleeing, their screams echoing as the creatures pursued them. Fires burned in the distance, casting an orange glow against the darkening sky. The air was thick with the stench of decay and something chemical, acrid. Then came the pounding. The creatures were outside the bathroom, relentless. The door shook under their weight, and I knew it was only a matter of time before they broke through. Emily gripped my arm, her nails digging into my skin. "This can't be how it ends," she whispered, her voice breaking. But as the door splintered, an idea struck me. "The power lines," I said. "Electricity." Emily's eyes widened. "It's risky. We could kill ourselves." "We're dead anyway," I replied. With no time to debate, we sprang into action, using the bleach and other chemicals as a temporary barrier. We fought our way to the backyard, where the power lines hung low enough to reach. The creatures swarmed, their forms more cohesive, more aggressive. One lashed out, grazing my leg. Pain shot through me, but I pressed on. Emily found a metal rake and handed it to me. "Do it," she said. I hesitated for only a moment before thrusting the rake into the power lines. The resulting explosion was blinding, a cacophony of light and sound that knocked us off our feet. The creatures writhed, their forms disintegrating as the electricity coursed through them. The air filled with a sickening smell, like burnt rubber and rotten meat. When the dust settled, the creatures were gone. The goo had evaporated, leaving behind only scorched earth and a haunting silence. Emily and I sat there, trembling, our faces streaked with tears and grime. The town of Oakville was unrecognizable, a wasteland of destruction and loss. In the days that followed, the government arrived, cordoning off the area, asking questions we couldn't answer. The official story was a freak weather event, a chemical spill, something, anything to pacify the public. But Emily and I knew the truth. The rain wasn't natural. It wasn't from this world. And as I sit here, typing this account, I can't shake the feeling that it's not over. The sky has been too quiet, the air too still, and every now and then when the wind shifts just right, I swear I can smell that acrid scent again. The rain will return. It's only a matter of time.